Welcome back, everybody. Those of you on YouTube, you didn't even miss the break. It was super exciting. Things
It's magic.
didn't happen. Um, Finally, after being in this call for several days and me telling them no, 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 we finally are going to get to start talking about character concepts and roles and maybe a little bit more of that kind of stuff, like actual mechanics, guys. Are you excited?
Super
Yay!
excited. Yup.
All right. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of zoom this out a little bit, and
No,
hopefully we.
wait.
Oh my God, there's art.
No, wait. Shoot.
You guys, please feel free to make um, writing notes. Notes are the words on the back of the table so that you can. Um, ugh. Yeah, no, that's a thing that I have seen now. Okay. Yeah, who's got an idea for a concept that they want to start talking about?
Sue.
I feel like that's cheating.
Well, if no one else wants to start, I had a vague idea for a rigger.
That's wrong. That's a what? That's not a who.
Sorry. I mean, it's all right. And as a younger kid, he was pulled into the crime scene because he and his buddy were given a what they thought was a big, bad, flashy deck that his friend was fairly proficient at using. So they basically were just jacking cars for this crime organization in exchange for this loner deck on occasions and just some measly compensation. I had I hadn't received augmentation, so I was using like a Trodes to be able to control the vehicle so that we could get it to the shop. Um, After a while of this, we get cocky, stop being cautious. He starts hacking into a rather expensive looking car, hits some data bombs, and things happen. We wind up in prison. And I wind up in prison, he winds up dead. Uh, the Over the course of the things happening, the deck also broke. I had this much better written out somewhere else. I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's just
Um,
pressure.
The deck got broken. He got broken also, and I got in prison. Now that I'm out of prison, I am forced back into the shadows because this gang is fully aware of who I am and where I am, and wants the money back for the expensive deck.
So
So-
you're Ant-Man.
In a way, Ant-Man, but instead of shrinking, I hop into cars with my brain.
Okay. Okay. That's a start. There's some interesting things to work with because clearly you've chosen to attach yourself to some kind of criminal entity, which all kinds of wonderful things can happen with that because you know they come a knocking, or maybe they did bad things to you inside, or maybe you now have a parole officer that you have to deal with. All kinds of fun things.
How about the GM? I can take you.
Um, okay, that's kind of a start. Does anybody else have any ideas?
I've got mine.
Okay, let's have it.
Okay, so this is a sort of middle class, upper middle class kid, born human, who would have goblinized. I'm guessing in puberty, and I'm trying to really figure out whether he awakened then as well. Um, either way, he's a fan of magic, and like he's definitely got a bent toward like thinking it's cool, wanting to be around it. Whether or not he can do it himself, if he can, I'm thinking more of a minor talent type thing, but definitely a fanboy. The goblinization thing would have been a bit of a shock. somewhat alarming to his straight-laced corporate parents, which explains why he got sent away, from where to where, I guess will depend on, where we end up deciding we want to run. If it's Seattle, then there's that. But basically, he was put in a situation where he would have grown up with a relatively comfortable lifestyle, and then rather abruptly found himself in a situation where that comfort was no longer a given. Really kind of operating without a net while trying to get used to not really being the same person or having the same body or the same understanding of the world that his first decade and a half or whatever led him to prepare himself for. Things are kind of hazy for me at that point because there's a couple of questions that I don't really have answered for him. But I like the idea of him getting involved in like a local sort of street level magical community, whether that's going to be like a whiz gang, or I had the idea of like the local practitioners guild or like a talismonger or something like that, where he would be hanging out and cleaning up the place or helping them out after hours or on weekends. And I know you're not a huge fan of the day job thing, but I was thinking something along those lines where Shadowrunning would not be all that he does, and to the extent that he got involved with it, it might have been at the behest of someone else asking for, I told these guys that I could do this thing for them, and you're giant and huge, so could you please help me out, or that type of thing.
Could you stand over here and be imposing?
Yeah, exactly, precisely that.
So a couple of things. You could totally have like a normal job without the day job quality. It doesn't even pay that much. It's just like the mechanical thing. It's like this is a negative quality that then compounds by giving you dollars for free. It's like, okay,
I wasn't really focused on the money part of it.
right? But you could just
and I
have
like
like a good contact that you just spend
yeah,
your downtime working for.
that's what I was thinking. Is that I was thinking of it less as he's got shifts and shit, and more as he is a local business owner that he helps out or asks him to help out, or he has a reason to care about, that sort of thing. I was sort of thinking of it as a contact.
Okay. Anybody else have ideas?
I have a couple of reasonably well-formed ideas and just one image that I cannot get out of my head that I would love to elaborate on.
Tell me the image.
It is an orc with mirror shades, sort of like how they describe Molly in the Sprawl trilogy in William Gibson's books.
I have no idea what that is. Lay it on me.
Okay, yeah, just sort of like
What?
they're almost inset into the face.
Adam Jensen. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
No. Retractable or not?
Not. But this is just how I'm picturing them right now. In faux leather Shaolin monk robes with a big ass ponytail and power beads that are actually screens, and they form a graphic equalizer to the music that he's blaring out of speakers hidden in his clothes.
All right. So if you want to write on the back of that table, Shaolin music monk, I think we can move on because that can go so many different ways.
Okay.
And I love that image.
Wait, back of the table. What do you mean?
Just like on you see the Roll20 page here?
Yeah.
So over on the left-hand side, there is a little paintbrush thing.
Oh, okay. Just
there's
like
a thing.
on the table itself.
Yeah,
All right.
boom. Shaolin
Somebody
music.
already picked Shaolin music monk.
I believe we had Magic Fanboy, or we can write Galvanized Magic Fanboy because that's an important part of his character is being not who he was. And the first guy was a car thief. I guess if you guys want, you can write like your names after it, so that we have some kind of. JT has a compulsive liar, con man, grifter. Um, JT, tell me a little bit more about this grifter, this Grifty McGriftison.
I'm kind of picturing, like they got the League of Legends image here. I'm kind of picturing like Gragas, but pint-sized as a dwarf. A bright red beard. Just he grew up on the streets, didn't have much of anything, and decided it's much easier to take from other people than to earn it himself. So he
Is it going to be a
started
problem if I
lying,
AFK for just a
stealing.
little bit? I have a friend that needs to go to work and he needs to go now.
Go.
So just started lying, stealing, taking from easy marks, probably wound up on the wrong side of organized crime at some point, taking from the wrong person. Maybe he owes somebody, maybe he's hiding from them. That's pretty much all I got right now, working on fleshing it out on paper in front of me while we're talking. I guess that leaves me, maybe?
Sure.
What do you mean, sure? Well, I'm trying to figure out who all's got one. Looks like JT's got one. I don't know who was the Goblinized fanboy. I think that was. I don't know who that was. I can't remember. So I'm guessing we need. Go ahead. So, if we're needing some sort of a decker, I'm thinking perhaps somebody who grew up poor and could barely rub two pennies together and managed to get old pieces of tech and kind of pulled off a couple hacks, studied computer science and stuff, managed to go through school, had a regular day job, but, I don't know if you want to have him necessarily, like, maybe investigating stuff inside his corp with his computer knowledge, and potentially somehow that accidentally got him in some hot water and roped him in on this, or perhaps, he got fired or something and, had to find some way to, start working again. Because I'm assuming being fired by a mega corp is probably not an easy thing to get fired from this one and go work for the next one tomorrow.
Man, that's not my decision, but let me just say that extractions happen all the time, and he could have totally been extracted, and the Johnson or something went wrong, and they got you out, and then the extraction never finished. Like maybe.
Sadly, I really like that idea. Perhaps, like my character, somewhat begrudgingly joins the crew based on something like that. Maybe they're trying to get, somebody else, and my character decided to leave his boring life. Or perhaps his boss was a complete jerk, and this was easier than quitting.
I would rather not have them kidnap you, because I thought about that immediately, but that kind of just sets us at a little bit of odds, because then we have your character has been kidnapped by these people, and then his life is partially ruined. Where if you were, let's say, extracted by another team, and then something happened that we can flesh out later, because you were probably unconscious with a bag over your head, but you just wake up in this back of a van with
It's traveling somewhere. Yeah.
no real idea on what's going on, and when you try to find out, contact your local corp branch, they're like, "You're not a citizen. I don't know what you're talking about." And then they have you escorted off the premises.
That sounds actually quite awesome. I am very much liking that. I was thinking something kind of a la Burn Notice type feel. Something that would come right out of the pages of Burn Notice.
That is true. It is something that could be very very prevalent there. And I think that's everybody's got a little bit of talking they did.
No. No, I
No.
didn't talk about my dwarf. If that's
Okay.
okay.
No, go ahead. Let's hear about your dwarf.
I really like the concept of a guy that's loyal to sort of one corporate brand. Maybe he's like an ex-corp wage slave who had to leave the corp or something, but I had like a dwarf that has a sort of like a romantic story that he like was moved or something and he lost a friend that he got for like a long, long time. And the friend vanished, and the guy he had some money, and he tried to look for him, but it took him a little too far and onto the wrong side of the law. Uh, and he sort of had to stay there.
Does
And
he?
he didn't find his friend yet.
Did he still have his sin, or did he
Well,
find a way to get
de-
rid of it? Because
debatable. I mean, I'm not hell bent on having a sin.
there's plenty of ways you could have gotten rid of it. Like your corp office could have been just cut you off. You could have been looking for your friend so long that Crash 2.0 happened, and your sin is just gone.
Sure, that's also. I mean, I don't have much in mind of like a set in stone story.
Right.
It's more about a general concept. I really like the fact to. I would really like to be loyal to sort of one corp brand, but I guess that's sort of up to the stuff I buy.
It is kind of up to the stuff you buy and a little bit of what like just about every piece of gear out there. Some the other corps have like knockoff versions of, so it's not like I personally don't care as long as you're not like I'm going to take the brand loyalty quality and have +1 to shadow running. Um, as long as we stay away from that, I don't care about saying that like your AK-97 is actually like a Shiawase something Japanese sounding assault rifle.
Sure, sure. But that and the fact that I'm sort of still, maybe it's been a long time, but I'm still sort of looking for my friend. But now I have to earn money by shadow running, and it turned out I'm kind of average, but still alive at it.
Not terrible at it. Still alive.
I'm still alive at it. It's a still alive level of shadow running.
It could also be that you have run into a clue that has pulled you into the shadows after him.
Sure, that sounds like sort of something out of the Shadowrun game, that Deadman's Trigger sort of thing.
Perhaps.
Sort of like, oh, I don't know, a first contact after like, I don't know, 15 years or something.
Yeah, we can flesh out the details as we go along. Um, but more importantly, you it would give you a reason to run the shadows that wasn't just straight Nuyen, because let's be honest, that's boring. There's no
Yeah.
there's no carrot there to lure you guys along. So do you guys have ideas on why your characters might continue to run the shadows beyond just the money or the having no choice?
Perhaps my character's trying to find a way back to his company, trying to find out what happened and how to reposition himself back into a nestled, spot. Because he was trying to climb the corporate ladder, so he likes being a drone. He might try and find his way back in.
How convenient for him that we have already decided at some point you'll end up back in the loving arms of Mother Corporation. Maybe not the same one. We'll see how that goes. But
We'll see how that goes. But I'm just saying, being pressed into Forp is different from like working up the corporate ladder. Because if you're a deniable asset, I don't think you get to climb very high. I'm just throwing that out there.
But it's the ground floor. You have your foot in the door. You're on the way.
I can imagine it now, guys. We gotta do this. Like, for the extra points for Mother Corporation, we gotta do this. Why? Because we gotta do this, guys.
Trust me, it's great.
I
It's
got
great.
a
It'll
big
be
promotion
fine.
riding on this. Don't screw this up for me, Jeremy.
I can't really hear whoever that is.
Yeah, that's my brother. My brother said every time they talk about the corporation, I have to turn into an old school communist about Mother Corporation. And yes, the people of Mother Corporation are in great spirit. Just dumb stuff like that.
Um,
I'm thinking that for my character, it's because it's basically his only chance to be a real life action movie protagonist.
and which one were you? I'm sorry.
The Shaolin
Music. So he's doing it
music.
because
So
he knows that he's awesome, and everybody else must know that he's awesome.
Well, like the way I'm picturing him is like he was one of those kids who was raised in front of the Trid,
Uh-huh.
and it was mainly like his favorites were kung fu movies, maybe even stuff from like the 1970s and 80s, just like the really over the top ones. And like then I'm thinking he's an adept, and first he goblinized, then later he awakened. So when he was getting bullied, his powers sort of like awoke, and he was like, "Oh wow!" And then he
I
started
know
training.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to avoid that, but
Yo,
maybe
you should
yeah,
totally
yeah.
take Damara, and the reason he originally knew Kung Fu is like one of his first powers was Damara, and he didn't really realize, but he just watched so much Kung Fu that he knew Kung Fu when he beat up those guys.
Okay. Is that in the Magic source book?
Something like
Or
that.
yeah, I'll have to look that up.
It basically is like you watch, I think it's like an hour or two of like some kind of media for what it is you're trying to do, and then you have like rank 1 in that skill for like magic hours or something.
Okay, yeah, I think that might, as somebody who might have watched a little too much Trid and is a touch not insane separated from reality, but you get what I'm
Yeah, I got you.
now. Yeah.
Okay, so this power grants you the use of an untrained skill at minimal effectiveness after watching a person or recording of a person using the desired skill. Once you've watched for at least an hour, you can make use of that skill as if you had a skill rating of 1, and it remains active for a number of hours equal to your magic attribute. So
That's
like,
great.
Okay.
it's only like a half a power point. It's in shadow spells.
Shadow spells. All right.
so
I-
so we would carry around like threads of everything, of like I don't know,
You could watch.
plumbers or something, just for him to look at and then plumb our
His
stuff.
his media library is like dangerously large. If he goes down, he takes the entire matrix with it, just because of the sheer terabytes that he
And
has.
Okay.
millions of foreigners lose their source.
Yeah,
Wait. It's like, wait, what's happened? I don't know. I don't understand.
1,000 torrents crying out and then falling silent.
Okay. Okay. So let's.
Because a kung fu monk was hit. Nice.
Um, so if you want to go ahead and fill in a little bit more, we have that he is he's probably going to be an adept. He is martial arts focused, and he loves the Tridio. Yo,
Yeah.
instead of little like music prayer bead things around your neck, they could be different kung fu movie displays.
That's not. I mean, they just be flex. You know, I mean, it's a screen, so he could just whatever he is.
Whatever he's into at the time.
Yeah, whatever statement he wants to make.
All right, Shaolin Music Monk, go.
Yeah, I'm typing right now. So
Nice. And the nice thing that worked out there is there's a lot of ways. I'm going to use you as an example that that we could have gone with that. Like you had this, we started with Shaolin Music Monk, and you went to the adept way because of like the martial arts stuff. But you easily could have gone into a magician because you have like that kind of like religious sort of thing with the Shaolin, the training and all that crap. We could have also gone into Decker / Technomancer with just like the style of the beads around your neck just being like, here's all this crazy tech that I'm wearing because I'm a tech junkie because it's just how I am, and that kind of fits into those things. You could have gone with a lot of cyberware, and they could have been just ornamentation and been just a giant street Sam. But I like. God.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about Mystic Adept. I'm not sure I'm not sure if I'm going to lock it down just yet because I like the idea of him doing crazy kung fu and then shooting fire out of his hands.
Well, you could
'Cause
also
it
just
just
take
yeah.
the like the elemental strike power and just have fire hands.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility because powers are cool. Um, who else has got a more refinement that they want to throw on there?
Well, doesn't refinement sort of come out of the role, or does the role have to come out of the refinement?
It can go either way. Like at this point, we've all kind of talked about the idea, and we can easily see where under a lot of um, these concepts where we could go a lot of different ways. Like our car thief, he cheated and mentioned going into like the rigor things, but he could have also easily um, gone into like a technomancer style thing, and he still might. He might want to go more techno than um, where. That's a decision that can still be made. But the history and the backstory also set up for potential being a decker. Keegan cheated and said he wanted to be a decker, so we're ignoring that for now. But
Yay.
Okay, that's something I want to talk about a little bit, maybe. So,
sure,
are we uh, are we just ignoring balancing the team, or for now?
A Johnson knows the capabilities of the team that it is hiring and will not hire a team for a job they cannot complete. So if you guys have no mage and your adepts as close as you got to magic support, I will never give you a job that requires a high level of magic support because the Johnson wants the job to be completed.
Okay, so if I'm going to be kidnapped, could I change my concept to be a technomancer? Sort of like I was a pet project that was kidnapped. Maybe
Sure.
I'm more happy to be
If
escaped.
you're a technomancer, you're almost certain to get kidnapped at some point by somebody.
So that would make, I think, a little bit more sense. And then by doing that, it also would let me learn some of the technomancer rules. I guess force me to learn some of the technomancer rules.
Sure, we could absolutely do that. We can talk about some of my technomancer clamping down bullshit a little bit later.
That's not gonna be terribly hard because I'm not super ultra familiar with how the technomancer operates in
The-
this edition.
There's the two major things is resonance veil is not going to let you do anything that you could do by hacking, and diagnostics can only be applied to the end item. Like there is no diagnosticsing the smart links in your eyes, your cyber arm, and the gun. You can diagnostics the gun, and I'll let you get away with that, but not the whole 9 yards. No, like I diagnostics my RCC, so all of my drones get bonuses. No, I'm not gonna. We're not gonna do that because that's dumb.
Also, if Chance ends up going the Decker route instead of
Yep.
Rigor, I actually have a fairly fleshed out Rigor concept that's been kicking around my head. So
I can 100% go Decker instead of Rigger. Just take my story and swap the kids around.
Well,
no, I don't want to step on any toes.
Right.
You know, I don't want to jack anybody.
Keegan mentioned potentially doing Technomancer instead of Decker, which is why we got onto that conversation as you came back.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You
I
could
didn't
totally
realize
do,
you were away.
Yeah, if you want to do rigor or technomancer and Decker instead, that's fine. Because I think Bamce said he doesn't want double support, double matrix support. So I will probably alter the character, come up with a different concept.
It is.
Oh, no. I designed that story so that I could use either of the two characters. Since I'm vaguely familiar with the Matrix, I figured that I wouldn't mind taking the role if everyone else was nervous to take it. But I am not at all set in either of the two positions.
I am not familiar much at all with rigor or the Matrix pretty much at all.
You can.
I mean, I know vaguely the skills I need to have, but that's about it.
You could still be a Technomancer without being, air quotes, the Matrix support. I'm just concerned about, like, we all have the idea that the hacking portions of Shadowrun are very exclusionary. The GM is going to be working with whoever that is for a significant period of time, while everybody else is just kind of like, meh. And then if that goes wrong, like if you trip an alarm and all of a sudden you're rolling Matrix combat, it's going to take even longer, which is why I don't want 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that takes just like the normal base Matrix stuff that's already kind of difficult to um, keep everybody engaged in, and it just makes it 3 times worse. You can be a Technomancer without being Matrix support. It's possible. You could be straight up team support. I like a kind of like a machine shaman. You know, talk to the power of the machine spirit. Be kind of into riggers, you know, diagnostic machines, that kind of thing. You could even be a low power Technomancer, do something completely different, and not really realize you're a Technomancer until later on when, you know, storyline stuff. And I would be happy to work with you on storyline stuff to grow that.
Yeah.
Just making sure that I put as much creative control and stuff into your guys' hands as I can.
So I hear everyone sort of teching up. I don't hear anything about like faces or magicians.
I believe JT said he wanted to be a giant compulsive liar / con man and loves shiny things.
Yes.
And in game.
Oh, con.
Old magic fanboy. We have a mage
Yeah.
spell.
I've well, I don't know if he's going to be magical, but I had him shaped as a. I'm trying to decide whether to go face or shaman, because I really want both, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. But if there's a primary,
Shaman uses charisma in a lot of their casting.
yeah, that's the whole thing with trolls is a lot of charisma is, you know,
They ugly.
more moderate than
They're
a lot of charisma
really-
for a human.
Well, how about we have you and JT kind of work it out a little bit. JT was talking about some con man stuff, and that doesn't mean you have to be a dedicated face. I believe you also said you were considering magic stuff, or was that just Sue?
I wasn't considering anything magical.
Okay.
I mean, I'm certainly willing to. I'd love to mix it up and play other things. This is just my first knee-jerk reaction, so I've got no problem switching it up.
And there's nothing saying that you can't be a magician that's just a giant filthy liar.
Well, that might happen regardless.
So it's like, oh yeah, no, this is not the droid you were.
Honest
looking for.
Shadowrunners don't last long.
Although that does bring up kind of a good thing. So if I were going to design my guy as a face-oriented character, it would be a completely different type. Like, I'm not thinking liar, grifter, con man type of thing. I'm thinking more earnest and friendly and charming and looking for a community and wanting to make friends, that type of thing.
Sounds like somebody good for me to con.
Sounds like
Do
a
you
big
really
con.
want to? Do you really want to con somebody that's 9.5 feet tall and 500 pounds?
You sure as hell can't fight them.
No risk.
So
no
let me
fun.
get this straight.
Inflate your ankles.
You think your client is a man who dresses up in a cave and beats up criminals at night, and your intention is to blackmail him?
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Good timing.
Sort of. I see. I mean, I was thinking about my last character was a dog shaman,
Mhm.
and it sort of forces loyalty on you, and that sort of clicked with my Beyond Nuyen sort of looking for a friend theory. So I don't know.
That's
I
actually
worked.
not a bad idea. Like, dog is what is pushing you towards finding your friend that you lost.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm at least familiar with magic in 5e since my dog shaman was 5e born, so I could refresh that maybe.
That is up to you guys. We can have multiple mages. It just means I'm going to throw more magical bullshit at you.
Geek the
Yeah, well,
mage.
but I can see that everyone sort of wants to be unique in a way because we have a lot of people, and I guess someone's gonna be doubled, some role is gonna be at least doubled. But but then like playing role-playing games in a way is sort of about being unique, maybe trying to a little bit.
Oh, I was.
Go ahead.
I'm talking about what's on the sidebar there. I was trying not to interrupt everyone who was talking because we've got a few different conflicts. Oh, hi. I'll just say it now. I'm okay with either of those two roles. Like, either way, I'm going to be doing a lot of like learning research, and that's basically what I want out of the character in the long run. If you pick Technomancer because no one else had picked an 8 Matrix support, dude, you go Technomancer, or you don't have to go Technomancer. If you pick Technomancer because that was your original character concept, dude, you go Technomancer, I'll do whatever.
So one of the reasons I wanted you to pull it out in the open is part of the reason for this series is to, in the annals of history, serve as a little bit of an educational tool to other people who want to get into and learn about Shadowrun. And having, like, step one is what we're doing right now. It is communication. And that is where this all begins, is talking about things and seeing where everybody else wants to go.
Sometimes.
And then communicating about sneezes. So please do, if you guys want to hash that out and see where you go from there, then now is the time.
I partially want to learn, and I partially wanted to do it because we didn't have much in the way of Matrix support at all. So I can leave that option up to you for whichever you think you would prefer. If you want to be a Matrix support and we don't want to run two of them, I can not be a Technomancer, and I can run a burly, like, former military troll who has kind of been disgraced from duty. There was some order he didn't agree with, and he went AWOL. Of course, being AWOL, that's a crime, so you go to jail. Once you go to jail, you have no records, so it's hard to find work.
Oh boy, 2 criminal records in one party. That'll be a time.
You got 2 ex-corpers in the party, too.
Oh god. I leave for 20 minutes and all this happens. Great.
I'm just saying
And we
that's
like each other. I mean, we're supposed to like each other. That's gonna be one hell of a reason.
Yeah, because we don't
like I
have
said,
any
that's a
other option.
Yeah, that's a potential other option, other than
Well-
maybe in a Technomancer type experiment.
I missed a little bit of what else everyone was picking. It sounds like we have 2 potential magic users, and no one else is looking into any sort of rigor, or not. Excuse, no one else wants to be the driver.
So
I was actually looking into that's an option. I have a ton of different ideas that are kind of across the board. So
maybe a good thing would be to actually, you know, I mean that shoehorns people a little bit, but maybe like write possible things next to the character concept, maybe just to change later.
I don't know. Now I'm starting to get into the whole what instead of who thing, aren't we?
Oh
Right.
yes,
A little
that's right.
bit.
That's, yeah.
My
well,
bad.
I
I
mean,
led
I
that
do. I have several who's.
Right.
So I mean, but it just depends on, I guess, the what's which would come after, right? Like the roles.
We've kind of gotten into the what's, we've kind of moved from the who's more into the what's, because we all at least have a basic character concept idea, and I kind of feel like
That sentence is hard to say, so I had to type it.
yes, that sentence is hard to say now that I'm looking at it. I feel like I've gotten a bit of the idea that I wanted to express across. That we're starting with, we're making characters, we're not making stat blocks. So I am cool if you got, like, I'm not gonna like not like I was, half hour ago. If you guys want to get into more mechanical talk, because we've moved a little bit past the who's here to narrow that down into more mechanics, because at the end of the day we are going to need to put mechanics to these sheets, and that's kind of where we're going. So
Okay.
please feel free to break straight up into mechanics if you want.
Well, let's see. if Jacob's who happens to be a driver, if mine is a decker, Keegan's is it sounds like ex-military fighter type. What does that leave everyone else?
I think I'd also be mostly muscle.
All right.
As the music monk.
The music. Oh yeah, the
Yeah, I
Shaolin.
mean, as the adept, it's combat's sort of my thing. Maybe a little stealth in there as well, but
Oh, we don't have any stealthers. So
Wait.
much for black trench coats. Oh well.
Stealth is a
do
skill
we have-
that everybody should have.
All right. Yeah.
Well, so
Yeah, I don't know if the
we
guy
get
with
stealthers, we wouldn't
LED
get
hair is going to be sneaking.
Yeah,
There was a
I
lot
can
of talking
go-
over each other there, so one at a time.
so the grifter, con man, liar could easily go breaking and entering, stealthy, steal stuff route instead of fast talking. I'm perfectly fine doing that if we need someone in that area.
It does help to be able to lie when you're caught. Just saying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And, um,
I should really be looking at Skype so I can figure out names to faces or names to voices here.
They're audio faces.
So Sue, you were thinking going face with your troll?
Yeah, well, so the thing is that this whole thing started like years ago, trying to build a troll that was a shaman that could also talk. And at some point, I've leaned towards one side or the other of that, because trying to do all of that is very difficult with the standard priority. I haven't tried it in some to 10. But I know that in terms of what type of social character he would be, it wouldn't be leaning towards, the lying, grifting, con man, 3-card Monty, shell game type thing.
You'd be more just a guy who's pleasant to talk to, not so much the guy we want representing us in front of Mr. Johnson.
I was thinking you might want him being the guy that you wanted representing you in front of Mr. Johnson. He might not necessarily be the guy that you wanted talking your way through the mad scanners or talking to the cop.
Yeah, I mean, there's room enough for two different approaches there, especially if I'm subspecializing or primarily in breaking and entering.
Right.
So
I was
having
also
a little
kind of
overlap isn't bad.
The problem with spreading out the things I want to spread out is that he's not going to be, world class in either of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe some of the social stuff we could teamwork. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good cop, bad cop.
true.
So that might be useful.
I have a question. Is everyone on the board, sort of? Like every character concept is written down or not?
Mine's written down twice. I'm pretty sure.
Because
Nice.
some of them are in the same
Yeah.
place, and no.
Here, let's put them all in this rectangle. That's blue. I meant for it to be black, but oh well.
That's purple.
That's a color that's not black.
It looks greenish purple.
Listen, I'm not an artist.
That's
That stuff-
interesting.
That monstrosity at the bottom left, don't judge me. I know art. That one's me.
I like it.
That's better than I could do. So
Which one? Oh,
It's-
Shibarashka right now.
I scrolled out
That's cute.
from there's a boat and a wave and something down in the
Oh,
corner.
okay. Oh, I like the icons.
That's got a really great 5-year-old kind of vibe, right? You'd put that in your fridge.
Dude, MS Paint style, old school.
I believe he just called you a 5-year-old.
No, I called myself.
No, I didn't get that from that at all.
Oh, he was talking about the boat.
Yeah, the art or is a interpretation of it. I like it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot there was a big pile of shit back here somewhere too.
Look, I
Hey.
know you don't like my art, but you don't have to be that mean. Jeez. Oh, you meant the. Oh, look, direct top.
No, on the
Okay.
screen. Now your art.
Yeah, my browser's not having a lot of fun trying to zoom in and out, and
Yeah,
Look
we
at this
we
stuff.
like your icon.
this is the boat.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, like old school MS Paint style. Like
Yeah,
exactly. Don't judge me.
I believe the sailor there is about to be impregnated by Poseidon.
It looks
Bro-sided.
like a friendly little
Giggity.
like whale wave
It's.
creature.
That's a water spirit.
Yeah, it's adorable. It's like the friendliest, cutest water spirit. Are they friendly?
It depends on who summoned them.
Okay, well that one looks adorable.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Oh, we're just checking out somebody's icon.
She's looking at the board.
Oh yeah, the board, I guess. Okay, I thought it was an icon,
Somebody's
but yeah.
being judged, it sounds like.
I know my art's being very careful.
I love it. It's
You've been
adorable.
listening to Art Chat.
Right?
Welcome to Shadowrun Art Edition.
There's an idea.
I'm an
Art thieves. There's an idea. Definitely.
I mean, that could happen.
Yes.
All right, so you got former technomancer / burly army troll. You got movie obsessed orc kung fu dude. You got charming late troll coming. Whoa, that's a arcane Alfonso or hold on, aficionado. Okay, I thought it said Alfonso. I need to
Can
zoom
his
in.
name
Holy-
be Alfonso now?
That's my street name.
All right, there we go. Now I can see that that's an F and an I, not an L and an F. Awesome. Dwarf ex-cop wage slave. Oh, this brown box for Jack, is that like all of your different character concepts you've come up with?
Well,
Or is it?
not exactly sure, but it's part of one concept, like an ex-wage slave who had a friend. The friend sort of pushed him into the shadows, and he's now looking for the friend. And below that is just my role, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
The drag
smiling.
is sort of getting characteristics.
Yeah, it's evolving in some troubling ways. I'm going to be honest.
All right, so
Maybe it's an insect drag or something.
Insects. You're exactly right.
In the effort of keeping things moving, does anybody not have like a something that more concrete? Like, do you guys feel like you could sit down and start building character stuff from what we have here, or does anybody want to lock in some more specific things?
Well, Keegan sort of has like former technomancer or burly former army troll. So which one would that be? Maybe, I don't know, or both.
that's just Keegan and I trying to figure out which one of us is going to be the Matrix support, and we're both kind of
You can roll
doing the
for it.
whole no you choose, don't you choose. Yeah, all right, that's fair. Keegan,
Nate.
roll a d6. Whoever's higher is the Matrix support.
Average.
Slightly below even. That's average rounding down, man. I don't know about my odds here.
Exactly half.
The suspense.
I mean, suspense is definitely real.
Oh, nailed it.
There you
All right.
go.
I am the driver.
The die has been cast.
So what
Rolling
is he going to
like
need to
D6
do to his vehicle?
Somebody put corn in it. Oh,
Man,
I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Someone put corn in it. It was filled with popcorn. I never got back. Oh no.
Damn it. So, everybody's now got a concept, a role kind of locked in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little collaborative action here. Who is your fixer?
Then what does he do?
Basically, that is exactly where we're heading with this.
So we were talking about the corporate stuff. So our fixer would be a corporate guy or not? I know.
Well, it sounded like several of you were no longer corporate affiliated for now.
Or voting.
Right? Well, that was your guys' idea, not mine.
Yep.
But sort of, we were going to end up in prison. Oh no, but that's going to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you will get another like fixer-ish person down the line that will give you your corp jobs. But that'll happen later. But right now, who is the guy that has pulled you together to do stuff?
I mean, I don't know that, at least for the sake of my character, he'd have any specific, like, oh, I was looking for this kind of fixer, because he's kind of looking for whoever gives him money. Maybe I've been running for a few years since getting out of prison, so I'm somewhat good at what I do, but, like, I'm just taking jobs.
Would it be too far to say that, like, our assorted characters are misfits among misfits? Like, and weirdos among weirdos, like, even for the colorful shadow running community? Because I'm just looking at these various ideas.
I have a guy that I could totally use, but I was kind of seeing if you guys had ideas for something.
No, because I'm thinking, like, just if that's the case, like, just he's one of those guys who he either he's trying to make a long-term investment and betting on the fact that we're actually more talented than we let on, or he's got no other choice but to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
I like desperation. It screams of Shadowrun. Like we're his last, best, and only hope.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
we're going
well,
to go to jail. That's cold.
down the road. Hey, he should have chose better. Life's hard, chum.
All right. So the first word we have to describe him is desperate. Does he have any affiliations? Is he in with any organized crime? Is he just in the shadows? Does he have, say, a business or some front for what he does? Does he have a specialty?
Maybe he was in organized crime and he failed, and that's why he's desperate. Now he has like nowhere to turn to.
Okay, so perhaps the failure was kidnapping my character, and that's why I'm still there. Whoever he was going to sell to fell through.
He's just stuck with you?
He's just stuck with me.
And you just
That-
happened
that's
to
why-
agree to Shadowrun for him?
That's perhaps why I'm stuck, running.
Yeah. So he like gives you
Well, that
jobs
being
to
said, he's probably didn't help.
he gives
to
you
help
jobs
pay
to
the rent.
kind of recover what he's done.
Perhaps to kind of redeem himself.
But does he force you to do it? I mean, because he
No.
kidnapped you and you're
Like, my
stuck
character's a
with him.
technomancer, and I was a secret project for a corp, so more than likely, I'm not going to have a sin, and if I do, the corp's going to deny the hell out of it anyway.
Okay, so he
So
was
I'm kind
the
of screwed
fixer.
in that anyway. So I got to have work somewhere, somehow.
So he's a fixer who his last team extracted. I'm sorry, and who was that? Because of names and voices. Keegan?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Oh,
your
I'm
character was the Technomancer Troll?
No, he's just a technomancer.
Okay.
Whoa, though.
Someone's having some fun with some ideas.
I totally had the idea for a technomancer troll who didn't really realize it. He just concentrated really hard on things, and they broke.
Yes.
And he thought he was like really lucky.
Yeah.
I think one person has said dwarf and one person has said, or I think the monk was an orc, but and I know that I have said troll. I don't think anybody else has said not trolls.
This is true. I don't. I think most people are not human.
Remember when you said you break your mic?
Um, anybody
Yep,
have
just
anybody else want to throw some stuff into this guy?
Mm,
Does he have a specialty? Like
well, obviously not
It
extraction.
looks like clusterfuck is his specialty from here.
his specialty is
Yeah,
everything goes wrong.
I can't get the image out of my head of like Gil from The Simpsons meets Herb Simpson
Oh god.
from The Simpsons. So he's like desperate to get back on top. Like, I only had 5
Okay.
more payments on that hot plate.
So he's hiring everyone who seems like they might have some sort of promise, hoping that he gets that one like golden team.
I'm sorry, it was Gil
But
from
no
The
one
Simpsons.
actually
and
agrees.
Sorry?
Who was the other guy from The Simpsons?
Gil,
And
and Homer's brother Herb. He was voiced by Danny DeVito. He owned the car company.
mm,
Homer
Gotcha.
bankrupted him.
yeah, I got you. I'm on board. Gil just needs one more chance.
Yeah.
Okay, this is playing into the guy that I had in mind, which is great because I love using this guy.
That's probably a bad sign. I'm just putting that out there.
Let me just say, if any of you is intending to be a female character, I'm going to hit on you.
Sold.
It's going to happen, and I will apologize to anybody out there.
Long silence.
Yeah.
Oh, might be a time.
I mean, I was.
That'd be
but
interesting.
Scratch
Thank
out
you.
that
character
F.
concept is evolving.
Free GM points. He had to hit on you earlier, so he has to be nice to you now.
So I've used this Johnson before, and he is Japanese, and there was a group of people around, a group of runners. I specifically picked a guy playing a female Japanese character and a face, so that the face would try to talk to him. He would ignore the face and talk in Japanese to the player and like hit on her, but he totally spoke English.
Nice.
That's the kind of guy
Okay.
he was.
Oh shoot, I'm pinging.
So he's in Seattle though.
Yeah, I was figuring we could start in Seattle, and if you guys want to go somewhere else, we could easily have Corp transplant you,
Alright.
which will have some
So-
other.
So I guess the Japanese society was kind of like hermetic, even in Shadowrun a little bit. So if he's Japanese and he's in Seattle, then maybe he was thrown out or something.
Maybe.
I think there are Japanese people in Seattle. One or two.
Oh yeah, no. Like every megacorp has presences everywhere. There are totally, for one, tons of triads and yakuza and.
Yeah, I
Sepulchre
haven't
rings.
spent a whole lot of time on the West Coast, but I've seen a couple of Asian people there.
Maybe one or two. I think they hang out at the Chinese food place, the one.
Yeah, that one they have.
Sure. Okay, you guys got anything else you want to add, or really to any parts of anything that we've kind of gotten into?
I mean, I like what we've got with that. I don't really think that we need to change much. This definitely, like, us meeting him wasn't like we heard that you're the fabled fixer that can get us all the right jobs. It's more of a, God, I hope you can help us. And he's like, God, I hope you can help me.
But he doesn't tell you that. He
Yeah.
tells you that he is the fabled fixer that can get you all the jobs.
Right.
Well, of
But he is
course.
sweating internally.
Exactly. He's got
Just
really good
constant
composure.
flop
nice.
sweat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we'd see one another as we all arrived for the meeting and realized that maybe we hadn't gotten the fabled fixer who worked only with top flight talent and took a chance on us.
You
So
guys
JT,
realize
do know
that-
you're the con man who got con now.
Yeah, no,
Damn
you
it.
guys, my character hasn't had much interaction with many other fixers. You guys realize that.
So that's one of the things we mentioned briefly earlier. Does anybody want to kind of like tie their characters to each other, or like mention that maybe you guys did one job before, or
Someone else mentioned prison? Nope.
Well,
Okay.
I'm sort of magical, and I see the troll coming arcane aficionado. So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, we could. When I was putting this guy together before the context of this, I had imagined him doing some jobs for the talismonger at the shop where he worked at. So I don't know. Maybe they both know the same guy, or they just have seen each other in the same circles. Maybe they go to like Summoners Anonymous meetings. I don't know.
I'm thinking,
But I'm
that
fine to be
there's-
tied
sorry, go
into
ahead.
the backstory of anyone. I'm fine to be tied into anybody's backstory. I like that.
I think that there's a
Well,
there could be a chance that Chance's character and my character like grew up on the same block or something.
and what makes
I mean, yeah.
leads you to that?
I was thinking either poor working class or Baron's kid for my character, and his origin story kind of plays into that as well.
I was definitely thinking poor working class, more of a parents have to spend all their time working so they don't manage their kid at all kind of situation.
Yeah, a couple latchkey kids.
Wait, I have a question about Jack's friend. I can't really see all of the text there. But I've got a character that turned into something very different at some point during his teenage years. Would it be possible that I've actually been the guy he's looking for the whole time and nobody knows it for hilarious reasons?
Yeah, and sort of we found each other like by accident in a store, and maybe as you sort of like magic and like to be around magic, you maybe tried to hit up on me, but I'm looking for my friends, so I'm actually super not interested in distractions and like making new friends, so I shoot you down.
I'm just saying
And
that goblinization makes you look completely different, and that
That's what I'm
the
saying.
amnesia quality exists.
I
Sure,
like the
I dig
idea
that.
of him being like,
That's
no,
okay.
I'm looking for my friend who's totally a human from here. Like, yeah,
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I know you from somewhere, but I don't have the time. I mean,
It's a little bit rom-com, but I also kind of like it.
Remember that
just
time I said I love tropes and cliches?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Okay.
plus
That is-
it gives me a purpose to run in the shadows perpetually, like without end. Because I'll never find you.
It does feel very.
Well, I guess until the moment I'm bleeding out, when we somehow realize.
Obviously. Like, that's... And you don't even
Well,
have
wait,
to go into
wait.
the...
Actually, I have a question. If I'm a shaman, was I a shaman all my life? Because wouldn't that make my sensing, see you? Does that change when you goblinize? Like, enough to
so,
me forget you?
your astral signature is kind of a manifestation of yourself and how you kind of see yourself, like your idealized form a little bit, that kind of thing. If he has suffered some kind of tragic event that to the point where it is impacting his memory of events over years, his astral form can totally change and be unrecognizable to someone who has sensed him previously.
Okay, so I guess Dog is not actually interested, so he's not helping me at all. He's just pushing me, find your friend, but
Maybe
he doesn't
he
like.
is. Maybe he is what drove you here, but you just need to realize it.
Yeah, the knowledge was in you the whole time, Jack.
There is no
Well,
special ingredient.
Definitely going with the trope thing.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Okay.
This is just like a brainstorming session. You guys,
Yeah,
have not put effective pen to
that
paper.
still might be a little bit over the top.
One of the other things I was thinking was, where is my character going to stay? I'm sorry to throw that out there.
Whatever
it
you
might
want.
tie him into one of the other characters or potentially the Fixer, since technically my character would be the Fixer's problem,
Um,
i.e., I'm the sign of his screw up.
I tell you what, just grab a month of lifestyle as normal in character generation because that has other effects. Um,
No, I'm fine with that. I'm just saying.
well, no, like for now, we could probably have you like stay on his couch, but he's trying to get you like get out of my apartment.
Yeah, he's trying to find a way to get me. Yeah,
It's
I
like
just figured I'd throw that in there as one of those like. Because I figured it'd be weird to like rope my character into one of the other characters or the NPC without asking first.
right. No, it's a legit potential problem that somebody who's been recently kidnapped might have.
Just put it as a potential problem.
I thought the whole kidnapping thing was it implies that they're going to provide you with lodging.
Yeah, that lodging's
Maybe-
usually the boot of a trunk, the boot of a car, or the trunk of a car. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I was up at 6 o'clock this morning.
So would that be a squatter lifestyle?
Well, no, he can still have like a normal whatever he would have had lifestyle because that is you're spending money for things like taking a cab, going out to eat, etc., etc. And perhaps most importantly for people who are trying to sneak around places, the quality of your clothing and how frequently you have bathed.
Yeah.
I'd like it if you bathe.
Because you can have all of the sneaking dice in the world, but when you haven't bathed in 3 weeks,
Roll for stank.
exactly.
I feel like if you're unconscious for however long you're unconscious as a rigger, then you hop back into your mind. You get all those scents at once. I don't think I'd like you very much.
He's like, oh, damn! Imagine like on top of that.
Aren't we in Seattle?
For now, yes.
It rains a lot there, right?
Acid rain.
Yeah.
That's going to scrub you real
getting
good.
the dirt
I
off.
think it's rid of BO like acid.
It's
You're not going to
exfoliating.
have any stank left or the top layer of your skin. You're good.
Yeah. Top layer, like second or third layer, because you don't have anywhere to stay, so you just keep getting rained on.
All the layers where the bacteria goes would be gone.
You're bald. You don't have eyes. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing. Okay, so we have some character relationships going on. Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to chit chat about? I got a little bit of time.
Yeah, right now I've got the beginning of my character's story and the present. I'm not sure, or and a little further past, it's the training. Like, how important is it that we have that, like, a full timeline?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, he discovered his powers. Maybe he ran away. Maybe his parents disowned him after he goblinized. Seen missing, and now he is the character who.
A scene that is missing can merely be written later.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
It's one of those things
That-
like, did you play the Uncharted series?
No,
Okay. So through the
I'm vaguely
first
familiar with it though.
so through the first 3 games, you play as Nathan Drake and you do stuff. And then in the 4th game you find out he had a brother.
Okay.
And it's like, okay. We can just wave it into his backstory because apparently his brother was incarcerated for like 30 years or something. So it's like, oh, well, that's where he's been for however long it was. But it's an opportunity. Like if you go through and you plot out his entire life, well, then it's kind of committed to paper. But if you leave spaces, it gives you the opportunity to fill it in with more interesting things later. Like, oh man, what if he actually like worked for your fixer previously before he got kicked out of wherever he got kicked out of?
Yeah.
It's stuff you can fill in later. Not terribly worried about it because
Okay.
it's backstory. We don't care about backstory. We care about the story.
I just hopped over into Twitch chat, and one of the guys asked who data bombs the car? Would it be a possibility? I don't know how absurd this one is. The whatever gang I was getting involved in maybe recognized, hey, this guy's pretty good at being.
This guy's pretty good, and then
Super debt slave mode to us, and then they forced me to, run for him.
it could be. Maybe it was a bait car.
Ooh.
Or maybe it was the car of somebody who actually knew how easy it is for a hacker to steal a car.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
he
was
was a
just throwing
rich
out the
asshole.
idea.
Maybe it was a hacker and he was just a dick.
Maybe he was watching us do it the whole time. He's like, I'm gonna fuck with these kids.
I'm gonna just set them up.
I don't actually care if that happens one way or the other. I'm just kind of throwing out the idea for you to decide on. I'll just go with what my character knows.
It is for you to decide on and for your choices to make real. So, like, if you wanted to take, say, the prank warrior negative quality, then maybe bad things happen to you randomly in the Matrix.
Hmm.
God,
They do
that
have
sounds like a thing. I'll have to look. I've got enough negatives being having a criminal sin and I don't think I need more.
Sure you do. Why stick with criminal sin? Why not just upgrade it to ex-con?
Well,
Kid,
that's a weird question. Would I be completely sinless, or would I just have some sort of criminal sin? I.e., the idea that I stole some sort of like technology from the corp. I mean, would they cover it that way, or would I just be completely sinless?
that is up
Ex-con
to you.
is like criminal sin plus records on file.
It is also like monthly parole officer visits and pee in this cup for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, plus day job. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's like I get to make a fun NPC for you to interact with on the regular that can call you up and say, I need you in my office tomorrow morning. And you say, yes, sir. Because otherwise they're like, you're going back to jail.
No.
That's exactly how I picture the concept of a fun NPC.
Well, just think,
Note to self: don't get shot.
you can get underneath, you can get out from underneath that guy's thumb by joining a wonderful
Killing him.
mother corporation. Or killing
Or
him.
that.
I mean, shoot, people disappear all the time. You never really know what's going to happen out in the Barrens.
That's why I want to play a friendly, non-violent guy. I want to know what that might be like.
Yeah. Or you could play, like,
Getting
just
killed
a really
randomly? What?
I would love to see a character like that. Just a cheerful, happy, upbeat.
Yeah.
And then, like, underneath that is, like,
Total psychopath.
yeah, but the other players don't really know.
Don't
yet.
know. Don't know at all.
Yeah.
Yo.
I also
So
like the
I could-
idea of somebody giving a lecture to the person who just tried to stab him.
It's like, I understand you're at a rough part in your life, but I'm here to help you. We can work
Now,
through
son,
this.
I mean, did you really have to go the violent route? Could you just
ask?
Think about asking me for a few new yen?
What is it? The grandpa from Avatar, whenever the guy tries to rob him at knife point?
General Iroh.
Yeah.
Such a good character. Oh my god. Not gonna lie, total man tears, like, from him. Just like, get back in there.
He's a good person.
Ditto. Great.
What have we
Oh,
said about using our knives instead of our
question.
words?
I wasn't really set on the corp. I was gonna be ex-corp from. Do you have any ideas which one could be the best?
I was thinking my parents would have been either Evo or Zeder Krupp.
Okay.
Something to consider. There's a bunch of them out there.
And then
Yeah, there's
even
like
smaller
10.
ones.
There is definitely like 10. But you could also be from like a smaller one if you don't want the giant corpse and negative quality hanging
So-
over you.
Would the
All be
corporation
global
be,
sandstorm.
I'm sorry.
okay? So would the corporation be our common point?
That's up to you guys. Although that would pose a very funny thing where, like, later down the line, you're like, oh, I miss Mother Corporation. The other one's like, I also used to work for Mother Corporation.
Well, Evo could be possibly something to miss, if I remember correctly, because they were pretty nice to their people, maybe, sometimes.
Evo is
Kind of.
like super accepting of all the freaks, weirdos, and other that are out there.
Pink mohawks.
Um,
Sure, so maybe Evo. Sounds
mo-
nice.
Most of the Japanicorps are super racist against non-humans, so that is something to consider. Um,
The different corporations also tend to have different geo uh, placement. So I think Evo's like Russian now somehow, and
that's just where they're like uh, headquarters.
HQs.
Where it's like,
Their what is it called? Their server, their hub, whatever it is. That's like worldwide because of the way that servers work. Grid, thank you.
well, I mean, I was thinking like I think Evo headquarters is in Vladivostok, but then also Evo South America headquarters is also in Vladivostok. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't ask
Um,
questions.
that's probably good. Evo likes you for that.
The less you know, the better.
Yeah, I mean, Evo's probably they're the only one left that can lay any kind of claim to the concept of not being completely horrible, right?
Horizon is
Um,
totally not completely
Um,
horrible.
But
Is
didn't they massacre a bunch of technomancers in Vegas or something? And
Horizon is not
Evo-
completely horrible.
yeah,
mention, guys, where
hey,
do you think the cutting edge
I think your P 2.0
cyberware?
score just went up, dude. Nice.
Yeah, because all your cutting edge cyberware and Bioware has to come from somewhere. Somebody has to test it.
and I'm pretty sure that Evo does some weird transhumanist stuff that may not be all that ethically cool.
I'm not entirely certain what you're talking about.
Oh no, not at all. It's all just rumor and speculation.
There are no bug spirits in Chicago. Uncle Aries tells me so.
Uncle Aries, I love Uncle Aries.
Me too.
All right then. I feel like we've got a good place for you guys to jump into doing some stuff on your own. Um, Tomorrow night around the same time as we got started, 8 p.m. Eastern. Um, if you guys want to show up with like 3/4 of your character, we could start getting some of the more specific things out of the way. Questions that you've come up between now and then, go ahead and write them down. Have a list. Um, all kinds of little things like we can flesh out some contacts that you guys have because not everybody, for one, nobody needs to get a fixer, but you don't need multiple people getting cyberdoc contacts or different gangs like that kind of thing. Um, we could come up with a list of contacts that you guys might want to bump into along the way to pick up as just as a team. Maybe these will be people you do jobs for. Maybe these are just random people you come across. Um, but yeah,
Should
no,
we be pulling them out of the runner hub list or anything like that?
no, screw all those guys.
Okay.
You can
Well,
make anybody you want.
Bunch of pixies they are.
Um,
Uh, a question in regards to the Chummer thing. So 3/4 of the character from Chummer, or just on paper for now?
I believe I can set up a bunch of character sheets here, and you guys can add them here if you want. Ideally, well, I'll start a forum thread on the game page that you guys can put a Google Drive link to the PDF of the character. Um, you don't need to have them completed tomorrow night because that's a lot of work for people who aren't me. Um, but that's why we're doing this, I guess. I don't know. I lost where it was because I was busy clicking buttons. Um, Well, yeah, no. If nobody has anything else they want to bring up, I'll see you guys in 20 hours.
Yeah, that's not much time to build these.
Yeah.
Especially when people have to work tomorrow, like I do.
Yeah, I actually have to get up in a couple hours. I gotta get up in like 6 hours to get ready for work.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you guys for coming out tonight, and
Or this morning.
or this morning. This is true. And I hope you guys dream of Nuyen. Big giant piles of Nuyen.
All
All right, see y'all.
Peace, guys.
Good night. Good night.
Good night and good morning.
Good night. Yeah. That's
And
it.
good morning.